Fortnite OG still has a ton of issues within the game mode, including a lot of small and major inaccuracies that Epic Games needs to fix. Thankfully, AliJax over on Twitter recently uploaded a huge, and I mean huge, thread of every known issue and inaccuracy within Fortnite OG. Make sure to follow him on Twitter because without this thread, this video would not be possible. I will have his thread linked in the description below and also the pinned comment. Some of these inaccuracies listed are a bit nitpicky, however, as I mentioned in my previous video, all of these inaccuracies lead to a snowball effect of more and more issues. So the more that is fixed, the lower the potential is to have mistakes down the road. Before we get into our first main issues, grab some popcorn, get comfortable, because this is every single mistake in Fortnite OG. And at the end, make sure to comment on what inaccuracies annoy you the most. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Yo, what is going on, guys? If you're new here, my name is Tricky. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, make sure to use code TRICKYS, TRICKYS, in the Fortnite item shop. So before we dive deep into the issues, there are a few things you need to keep in the back of your mind while watching the video. Within this thread, there are labels showing either critical issues, fixes provided, problems addressed by Epic, multiple issues, or unobtainable assets. I will only notify you on screen when the assets are critical for ease of viewing with this pop-up. So let's get into our first problem. Assault rifles should have less recoil and a way faster recovery time. Also, they should reload faster. The high tier SCAR has the wrong model, the wrong reload, and the wrong equip sound, and also uses the wrong firing animation. The gold SCAR only lacks all of these stat issues, which is odd to me, but it makes sense just because it's the most notable gun in Fortnite and it's pretty hard to mess it up. Onto the burst AR, which should have more spread, crouch spread, sprint speed, and less jump spread. It should not have per bullet recoil and less overall recoil. This is the reason why the burst AR feels so horrible to use, and also it feels like you can't hit your shots at all. Also, the purple and gold variants use the wrong model, textures, and icon. The heavy assault rifle, which isn't even in the game yet by the time of recording this video, but it's somehow broken in the files. It should have more spread, recoil, and it's using the updated heavy AR icon instead of the OG heavy AR. The scoped AR should have less recoil on controller. I had no clue that recoil could actually differentiate depending on what platform you're playing on, which I guess makes a lot of sense because of aim assist, and it's much harder to aim on a joystick rather than with a mouse, but it also uses the wrong scope mesh. The thermal AR, which really isn't that broken, has less aim assist slowdown than it should. Suppressed assault rifle should have more heat/cool spread, and it should also have no bullet tracers, and it uses the wrong firing animation. The minigun should also have more vertical recoil and less horizontal recoil. It should not overheat. It uses the wrong muzzle flash and tracer beams, and it also needs to drop with increased light ammo, which this is the main reason why if you get a minigun off spawn, it feels like you die so quickly and run out of ammo so quickly. The green and blue pumps use the wrong volume and have no volume modulation. Also, the equip sound plays way too early. This was not an issue before the pump's audio was changed back to its original, but the firing sound is also louder than it should be. It uses the updated chapter 6 impact sounds, and it uses the wrong shell insert sound when reloading. The purple and gold pumps, which once again are still not even in the game yet, have the same issues with the pullout sound. They instantly play when equipped. However, it uses the chapter 2 materials and textures on the model. Also, it still uses the chapter 6 impact sounds. I don't know how this was messed up. Also uses the wrong firing animation, and the gun does not animate when fire or reloaded, which means this might be a leading factor why Epic Games hasn't put the pump in the loot pool yet, because I think the pump is going to bring back a lot of people to the game because it will be able to deal 200 damage. The heavy shotgun should be semi-automatic and should pierce players. The double-barreled shotgun should have less jumping spread and have structure damage fall off. The tac shotgun rare variant structure damage is wrong. Instead of 75, it should be 55, which means it can kill a wall in like 2 shots instead of 3. The SMG uses the chapter 2 model and textures. The firing sounds are pitch wrong, and also it has a bug where the low ammo sound continuously plays. The compact SMG, which kind of surprises me how they messed this up, only uses the chapter 2 model when dropped and uses the chapter 2 textures on the chapter 1 model when held. Again, the low ammo sound has the same issue as the regular SMG where it continuously plays. I personally have not experienced this in game, but I'll throw up a clip from AliJax. This is what it should sound like. But yeah, it's just super annoying. Epic Games needs to take this out immediately. Thankfully, I haven't experienced it at all. The suppressed pistol should have more spread with no bullet tracers and should be semi-automatic. It uses the wrong equip and firing animation, which is crazy, since this should not have even been modified at all. The semi-auto pistol has the wrong textures, correct model, and it's somehow automatic when it's a semi-auto pistol. It should just be called pistol, and it also uses the wrong equip animation. The hand cannon uses the assault rifle mag when reloaded, so it looks super wonky whenever the reload animation already drops a mag on its own. I haven't experienced this because I believe these are also in chapter 6 and also reload, but I haven't seen this at all. The bolt action sniper is completely broken. Uses the wrong scope mesh, and the reload animation is so scuffed for anyone playing over 60 FPS. It looks choppy and it just looks unnatural is the best way to explain it. It uses the wrong reload and equip sounds. High tier also has many issues due to the incorrect assets. The heavy sniper uses the wrong scope mesh, deals 785 vehicle damage, which is 5 times its values, and it also uses knockback on vehicles. Also, the reload animation has the same problem if you're playing above 60 FPS. The Fiend Hunter crossbow has the wrong damage and structure damage. The whole point of the crossbow was to deal 0 damage to builds, but it deals 1. Not a big deal because it will take ages to shoot a build out. Also, it has more spread than it should. The purple and gold RPG use the chapter 2 rocket when firing. Also, the sounds are wrong. Grenade launcher explosions are wrong, and the quad launcher uses the wrong textures, firing sounds, and should have more spread. The shockwave grenade uses the wrong sounds, and the stink bomb drop mesh is very low quality. Plus, it uses the wrong sounds. The balloons have no emote designs, incorrect charges, attached to your back when they should be held in your hands, and they also don't work on vehicles. The grappler cancels fall damage when it shouldn't, one of the bugs that I love actually, and the charges should be 10 instead of 15. This is one of those things that I don't want changed at all, just because it's kind of nice not taking fall damage with the grappler, and I've gotten so used to it. Also, I enjoy having it at 15, but at the same time, it's a bug, so Epic Games should change it. The rift in the rift to go is much smaller whenever activated. This can cause players to not be pulled in their own rift, which is a huge issue, and actually, I've dealt with this myself. It is not too noticeable, but if you're playing duos or squads and you're trying to rift out of somewhere like really quick with your teammate, it can be pretty annoying, especially if you don't know where the rift is. Boogie Bomb should drop in stacks of 2, and it's missing the glittery effects. The rarity grid on both the chiller and mounted turret are messed up. On the turret, the hitbox is not the same as season 6. Please don't fix this. I will say this is one of the bugs that is also very good for the game. It was way too broken before, and I guarantee you that this is one of the main reasons why Epic Games didn't add this back. Keep in mind, in this entire video, all of these is just what's different from OG. So some of these things in here, they are quality of life changes that Epic Games did add. So take some of these with a grain of salt, like the grappler and also the turret. Damage trap should turn blue if it is used by your team members and it's missing the rearming sound. This means you can't tell if a trap is placed by your teammate or placed by an enemy, which is very game changing if you don't have good memory. Campfires can burn you and use the chapter 2 mesh. Grenades are wrong. The stack size should be 10 along with the mini shields, and the portafort stack size should be 5, not 2. I actually did not know that about the portaforts. 5 is a little crazy, but hey, it does help in build modes, especially if you are a 0 build player. Portaforts are OP. Chug Jug uses the chapter 4 season 4 textures. The bush uses the wrong drop mesh and is very inconsistent. That is pretty much it for all of the weapons. And again, most of these in here that really need to be fixed, in my opinion, is mainly the audio with the SMG, the sniper rifle being really choppy when reloaded, and also just some recoil stats. But that's pretty much it. Let's move on to the vehicles.
Baby girl, what you doing with your man? I just popped a Zan, 50,000 in Japan.
ATKs are way too overpowered. The speed should be slower, and this is why the ATK flips all the time. The health needs to be 400 instead of 650, but I mean, I guess this kind of balances out since the heavy snipers are very, very overpowered. Shopping carts are also broken. The health is way too high, and it's also so much faster than it should be, which is why it flips over a lot, similar to the ATK. By the way, this is going to be a reoccurring issue with most of the vehicles in here, so just keep that in mind. I'm pretty sure all of these values were increased by like 0.5 or 1.5x, so they might be able to just revert every single vehicle with a simple code. But the quad crashers are also fully broken. They can't fly, which this should be fixed very, very soon. Actually, it might already be fixed by the time this video is up, but the health is way too high. It uses fuels, so it runs out of gas, which is crazy. The speed is way too fast, sharing the problem with the shopping carts and ATKs, uses the incorrect sounds, can't break structures, and does not spawn in the correct locations, even though their spawn locations exist in the game files. Also, vehicles use the wrong wrap slot, using the AR wrap instead of the vehicle wrap, which is really, really odd. That's pretty much it for the vehicles. Nothing much that needs to be changed. And what you'll notice with pretty much the rest of this list is that it's a very simple fix for a lot of these, but it's just a lot of fixes. But let's move on to some more weapons that are a little bit nitpicky, but they do need to be addressed. The LMG needs more spread along with no per bullet recoil. The drum gun uses the wrong pickup sound, reload animation, and it plays at incorrect timing, and it just sounds really wrong. The revolver should have less ADS recoil, and the suppressed SMG should have no bullet tracers. The TAC SMG should have the BR bullet tracer and has the wrong equip animation. Remote explosives are seriously overpowered. The damage should be 70 instead of 100, and 2 of these thrown at you, it's GG's. Also, it uses the Chapter 4 goop. I don't know what that means, but yeah, it uses that. Bouncers are all 25% higher in launch speed, which is why you fly when you use them. Honestly, I love this, and I think the reasoning is for new movement because it's so much faster. And also the only problem is that you can't use the bouncer plus launch pad combo. The semi-auto sniper uses the wrong scope distance, scope mesh, and the rarity is wrong. Technically, these should be vaulted. Now let's get into the way bigger issues, and this list is a lot longer, but this is the global gameplay issues. All of the rifts are infinite, however, they should expire after 10 seconds of use. Their effects completely break after 10 seconds, making the crack in the sky look very odd when looking up from the ground. Personally, I enjoy the infinite rifts, however, it completely diverts the original idea of OG Fortnite, which is slow-paced gameplay and harder rotations. Zipline should not be in build mode, which makes it impossible to build in some areas, like Salty Springs Mountain. I understand that these are meant for the zero build players, however, this makes a ton of issues over on the build side of OG Fortnite. Since zero build and build are separate, these can easily be taken out of build mode with a few clicks. Whenever you are knocked out, you bleed out slower than you should. The time we have now is 100 seconds, and the correct rate should be 60 seconds. Pickups are very incorrect. Here is a video of Ali Jax that he provided showing the comparison of the old pickup graphics to the new one. The left is incorrect, but the right is correct. The background mountains are rotated wrong. With one click, these should just be rotated to 0, and they should not move. These mountains were originally created with the intention of the sun setting behind them, and also they're not meant to rotate at all when playing. The storm cloud should be using the new storm, and the tick box for these is BP_safe zone storm. This will enable the storm clouds for season 6 and all the way up to season X. The interaction speed, which I've noticed myself, takes much longer than it should. It should be 0.5 seconds on pretty much everything, mainly chests and vending machines. They take way longer to open than they should. Now, this one is a little tough for me to say. Shadow stones are wrong and should not be havoc stones. However, this could be lore related with the red cube. Shadow stones were very iconic and made way more sense for Fortnitemares, turning you into a ghost once you use them. Personally, I don't have an opinion right now just because we don't know how the red cube ties with the storyline, but I'll probably change my opinion by the end of October. The lighting, which is one of the most important things with the game, is totally incorrect. These are 2 comparisons with the lighting before and after both day and sunset. This is another issue that not only affects OG, but also numerous other game modes in Fortnite. The props around the map do not animate when they should, leading to a large and inconsistent animation whenever you hit a bush, tree, fern, etc. In Chapter 6, Season 3, the rarity color was changed within the game mode, which not only affected reload and other separate game modes, but also OG as well. I'm pretty sure the thread that Ali Jax posted has the correct color, which should lead to an easy fix. Okay, so buckle your seatbelts for this one. This is going to make a lot of people go crazy. The grass is incorrect again. The grass displays the season OG grass instead of the proper Chapter 1 grass. I don't know. Honestly, it's fine for me. Maybe it looks better on the newer engine, but if Epic Games is watching this video, just revert the grass. The RVT, aka the runtime virtual texturing, is both set up and used wrong, which ruins the landscape material and makes the distance/blending effects look very odd. According to Ali Jax, he said this is very subtle, but it is still worth noting. I guess this would mainly affect users of replay mode if they are trying to capture clips of the island. Now let's go over most of the buildings and incorrect locations on the map, which was confirmed to actually be a bug. First is the shack near Salty Springs. It displays the broken house over in Retail Row instead of its own shack. The hut near Fatal Fields is incorrect as well, which shows a garage repair shop building. The taco shop that is between Shifty Shafts and Flush Factory shows the building from Tilted Towers instead of the taco stand. Also, the cube spawn point lacks 0 burn marks. Subtle, but makes a big difference for some people that enjoy looking at the lore. This one is minor, but the hut south of Retail Row is rotated 180 degrees and the ATK garage is too wide. This needs to be a 1x1 building instead of a 1x2 building. Again, this is very nitpicky, but keep in mind, this video is every issue within Fortnite OG. Y'all wanted it. The iconic chest by the Durburger head is missing. The car with the chest on top of it where the Moai statue is near Fatal Fields is also missing, and the ramp on the hill close to Greasy Grove is missing as well. The runes are rotated wrong, and I won't go into the specifics just because it's really long, but runes 0, 2, 3, and 5 are incorrect. Also, the Wailing Woods rune and Retail Row rune are swapped. This was correct on the launch of OG Season 6. The island of Loot Lake is incorrectly scaled on the minimap, and also the Loot Lake Island vertex is basically close to invisible on the minimap. This is due to missing material. Also, the grass under Loot Lake does not have extra wind. The grass in the desert biome has the wrong rotation because of an engine change. Also, the bushes around the island are Chapter 2 bushes, which I never even noticed at first glance. The worst thing about Unreal Engine 5 with Fortnite OG that I have covered in one of my previous videos is the random foliage. This has certain console platforms with random foliage around the map, and in this bad case, it's due to the OG bush being migrated to OG. Street lamps don't even work correctly at night due to their missing cone effect, and some buildings around the island have incorrect shapes, like this window in the Salty Springs blue house. Some tiles in Tilted are the wrong color due to the biome coloring, and the indoor ambience is missing the hum sound, which would enhance the OG effect and feeling. Many shipping containers and dumpsters are either in incorrect locations or have incorrect colors. Most of these are on Spawn Island, which isn't a big deal. The Spawn Island's battle bus is a very low quality mesh. I've noticed this multiple times, and I thought it was my game maybe just loading in and it took a little bit longer, but no, it's just completely broken. The motel sign is missing, which is crazy, and the pool tires are broken as well. This one isn't a massive deal, but the vehicle spawns are slightly inconsistent. These might be fixed soon, but a bigger issue is the audio with the rune vents. They are way too quiet, and paired with that is the floating island, which uses the incorrect ambient sounds. The tree placements are also messed up using the old factory layout instead of the dusty diner version. Also, something that kind of sucks because it was cool for the rotation in the original Chapter 1 game mode is grappling in shopping carts. Instead of launching you far with the shopping cart, it just ejects you out. The storm damage scales deal 1.33 damage and 1.67 damage when they should be dealing 1 during those phases. It may not be noticeable, but this 1.5x increase changes gameplay for people far outside of zone. One of the most important things about global gameplay issues is the loot pool. The uncommon SMG was vaulted from chests, meaning it's harder to find an uncommon SMG than a legendary one. Again, Ali Jack shows the correct loot pool from all of the seasons with a copy and paste drop pool to easily migrate them over. Welp. That's it. Hopefully Epic Games fixes a lot of these issues, and personally, a lot of these I could care less if they fix. Again, these are a bit nitpicky, however, these have all led to an endless snowball effect that just keeps getting worse and worse. For me, the overall marketing, gameplay, and community are the most important to keep players attached to the mode. So if you want to be a part of the Fortnite OG community, make sure to sub to the channel because we post mainly Fortnite OG content over on this channel. Also, I would really appreciate if you guys use code TRICKYS, TRICKYS, because we are doing a giveaway for the Ghostface bundle, or really any skin of y'all's choice, but that does help support me. Anyways, guys, it's been your boy Tricky, and I'm out. Peace.